gentlemen, my name is Acting Relic, and may the 4th be with you. Yes, it is May the 4th, the so-called Star Wars Day. I'm perfectly fine with that. I love Star Wars myself, and I'm going to be playing one of my favorite Star Wars games today, Star Wars Battlefront 1, while also talking about the next upcoming Battlefront. So, I'm just going to be doing a little instant action and then sometimes taking a little bit of a break to talk about a few things. So let's see here. Do that. Endor, Spire, Hoth. That one. Obviously, I can't remember when it was, but a trailer for what? Who should I go? I'm gonna try Rebels. A trailer for what the next Star Wars Battlefront game is going to look like came out. I think it was maybe a month ago, maybe a little less than that. And I remember watching it. I think I watched it at something like 1 in the morning. I just turned on my iPad and saw it. It's like, oh man, new trailer. I should go check this out. So I popped it open and I was just watching it, utterly stunned at what it was looking at. Upon further examination, I should have read a little more clearly as to what's going on. And I also just didn't read any of the press releases that came along with it, because there was a whole bunch of information that was put out at the same time. So, and a lot of people are up in arms about it. Some people are really not happy about it. They're really annoyed about what's going on and what's going to be happening. Some people are telling those people to just calm the fuck down and are still super excited. I'm leaning towards that camp, but I'm also a realist, so I can see how things can go. It's also, I have to keep in mind that this is an EA production. And sometimes, like, there are times where EA is a good company and they do incredible stuff, but there's also times where they really do not too great things. And the next Battlefront is EA DICE, which already, DICE side of things, they know what they're doing. DICE knows how to make good video games. They knew how to make Battlefield really good for a long time. And I continuously keep dying. Fucking grenade spam. Anyways, that being said, there is sometimes where EA team has to get involved. Of course, EA server team is what destroyed Battlefield 4 for a lot of people, which makes a lot of sense because what you are trying to sell is your chiefly online multiplayer experience. When the online does not work, there's a big problem there. So while you can get excited saying, oh, we're getting a Battlefront game that's going to be made by the guys who made Battlefield, and I think one of the best indications that these guys are actually going to take time and care to make this is one of their very first videos about their production on this was saying, we got to go to the, I I guess like they're the LucasArts vaults, and go look at all the miniature figures so that we know exactly what to model our in-game vehicles and various other things off of. And I was like, excellent. I don't know how the game's gonna play, but I know at least you guys are taking initiative to say that we want to build this game with a surefire amount of quality to that side of things. So I was having good faith. Trailer came out. It's like, okay, this looks, well, my initial was almost stunned silence, but then reading back through a couple things, I readjusted a couple things. And however, some people are really up in arms about how this is going to play out and how this game is going to fall to pieces and how they've ruined it already before it has already come out. First of all, you can't say something is 100% ruined until you hold the controller in your hands and you play the game for the very first time, and you play with it and you see, like, you can physically point something out in the actual gameplay, in the menu systems, what have you. You can physically point out the problem. Until you can do that, I won't take your word for saying it's broken. Until I can empirically see with my own eyes, either by physical footage that I'm getting by looking at it, or by looking at someone else's footage that has not been doctored in any way, shape, or form. Goddamn grenades. Anyways, so the stuff that does dishearten me slightly is, of course, all the press release stuff that came out, and there was some stuff in there where it's like, okay, I understand why that's there, but there's a couple things where it's like, okay, I can see why people are saying this is destroying the whole Battlefront style thing. So I got a little bit of a list here that I saw off another reviewer's video, so I'm going to use their list. So number one, no land to space. So for example, all these TIE bombers and TIE fighters and stuff like that flying around this map, that's not going to happen in the game. But it's okay, because we already had a game that was like that for all the land battles. That was Battlefront 2, and they made up for it by having a lot of good vehicle combat. And we already know, since Battlefield's main thing is, yes, you can fight with just guns, but it's also a good idea to rank it, to buddy up with a couple other people, all hop in a tank and use that to your advantage and work as an actual team. That being said, the counter to having no battles like this where there's both air combat like what's above me right now, and also having ground combat, is that Battlefront 2 had space battles. Battlefront 3 is projected to not have space battles, which really, yes, that degrades on me and really annoys me, because it's Star Wars. I would say half, if not more, of what everyone likes about Star Wars is, well, the first part of that were star, i.e. space, because some of the best parts of Star Wars are in space, and some of the best parts of Battlefront 2 were the space battles, and because they were really fun. Mainly assault. I was never too fond of capture the flag in space. I thought it was kind of strange, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, so that does annoy me that there are not going to be space battles. However, That definitely sounds like a EA marketing, we will sell you the space battles later. Which is an asshole thing to do, but that's part of EA, and part of how they work is being those money-making people. Which I don't like. Nobody likes it except for the guys who are sitting on the multi-$100,000 salaries that they get for being heads of that company. Those are the only people who are happy about that. Though I will begrudgingly, if they sell Space Battles as DLC, I will hate them for it. I will still buy it because, and like, I'll complain and say this should have been in the base thing, but if they're going to do that, I just hope that whenever if they do put out Space Battles as DLC, they make them fucking good. And like, polished as all hell with a ton of work. Because if they don't do that, then there's going to be a lot of trouble. So that's annoying, since you're going to change it from this Battlefront 1 scenario to a much more Battlefront 2, but you're going to take out space. That's but you still got ground combat, which is still hopefully going to be good. However, there's some problems with that one. So, number one, we don't have a campaign this time. I'm annoyed, but then again, I'm not that annoyed. It could be worse, and sadly it is, because there supposedly is no instant action, which is what I'm playing right now, and it's really what I like the most about Battlefront. It's just instant action with bots. But as I am saying this, and it looks like their Battlefront is going to be a much more multiplayer, online focused game, and as I begrudgingly say, I don't want that to happen, that's not my Battlefront, I also have to think Titanfall was actually a lot of fun, and I actually enjoyed having it be online only, because it really got me into the mood of actually enjoying having competitive multiplayer. So while I am reasonably annoyed by the fact that we don't have instant action, which is my favorite thing about Battlefront, I'll let it go, because if you can make a good online experience that distracts me from the fact that there is no offline, I'll be okay with it, because I can still have fun playing online. That being said, if this turns into another Battlefield 4 where it fails online to launch, I don't even need to say what would happen, because there are several other online individuals who would literally want to break their fucking computers in half if that kind of thing happened. So if they're gonna force us into online only, make sure it works, and make sure it's damn fun. And do Titanfall. Do Titanfall. Add in, have it be X amount of actual players, and then a whole bunch of, then add in some AI. Drum that thing up more, because not everyone wants to just play competitive multiplayer. There are definitely people who do, and those people are probably pretty happy having it just be multiplayer. But this also leads into another thing that appeared in the press release, which was they are saying that it is just going to be a 40-person multiplayer. Now, I didn't play a whole lot of Battlefield 4, but I know that there are bigger modes in Battlefield 4 than that. So, how they are stepping back in size and saying it's going to be on the level of is a little mysterious to me. But what hopefully happens is that it is, as I said, you have maybe 20 versus 20, but you supplement that with having also AI come in and be assistant to you. I also heard about a bit about how the squad system in this one works, where it's very much based upon the linkage of two people together. You and a friend share unlocks and stuff like that and work together, instead of having it be a full squad system like it was in Battlefield. Again, I have not played enough Battlefield 4 or 3 or any of them to really make a lot of these comparisons. I'm just going off things that I've heard about each of those games, and man, I am dying a lot. So, that's a bit of a problem. Another one, and this is actually one where I am disappointed in them, mainly because it's a thing that makes no sense as to why. So, it's been said in the press release that there aren't going to be class systems like there are in this game, or more importantly, in Battlefield. Well, at least Battlefield 4, the bits and pieces I played of it, there were definitely classes to them. Of course, you usually picked your one that you really liked and played that one the most, but there was, in fact, classes. Healer, demolition, stuff like that. This game wrote the fucking book on how you do classes. Personally, I like rifle the best because, at least in Battlefront 1, it's incredibly overpowered. But you still have all this choice. You can be a sniper. You can use a grenade launcher, rocket launcher for when those vehicles come in. The electrical gun that got a facelift in Battlefront 2 and became one of the best weapons that game had. Why you would step back from that and say, no, we don't want to do classes, you get to create your own and do whatever the hell you want. Yes, that's nice for a customization standpoint, but as soon as this game launches, people are going to figure out what the most optimized weapon, perk, and like just combination system is, and just put that up online, and that's all we're going to see in multiplayer matches. It's not going to be entertaining to have a fight where you're fighting against 20 versions of the same guy. So, yeah, the class system, that's something that really kind of grinds on my nerves and really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. There's some, like, nowhere. The problem is with a lot of these is that while I can go, okay, fine, there's a lot of them where it's like, fine, I'll let it slide, but I don't know why you had to do that, mainly because a lot of them are step backs from what they had in Battlefield 4. And what people were initially thinking was that when we heard, oh, DICE is going to get the rights to Battlefront, we're finally going to get I think we were expecting this is going to be Battlefield, but with a Star Wars skin over top, which in theory sounds good, or a Battlefront with a some systems and control upgrades from Battlefield. Either one of those would have been good, but now we're getting this weird mishmash of the both of them, and they're both stepping back on certain technical limitations, and a lot of those setbacks don't seem to make a lot of sense. So I think that's the real why people are up in arms about this. I'm definitely annoyed by it, but I think at the end of the day, no, until I hold the controller in my hands and get to experience what it feels like to play, I can't make any full weight judgments on these. And I call me a Star Wars fanboy if you have to, but I also look at this as we haven't had a Battlefront game since I think it's been 8 years since Battlefront 2. And I know there were other ones in between that, but a major Battlefront game.
We've lost a command post.
So, yes, I'm annoyed by all these things but at the end of the day, I have to think, while this might not be exactly what we thought it was going to be, that's annoying, it is still going to be a Star Wars Battlefront game. And we have not seen a Battlefront game for, I'm going to get the exact time here, because I think it's 8 years. No, it's been, come this October, or rather end of October, beginning of November, it will have been 10 years since we got a Battlefront game. 10 years! That is a damn long time. So, while it might be a DLC infested mess with hopefully not horrible online, it's still a Battlefront game, and we have not seen one in 10 years. So yes, I'm a jaded Star Wars fanboy, but I also believe that DICE will at least put their foot down on some of this and give us the best we can, because EA wants this to be a success, because, well, it's half the reason Disney has Star Wars now. Is, yeah, you could say they want to continue the franchise. I see it as they want the craze, toy craze, merchandising craze, movie craze, that was the original trilogy. If they can encapsulate that, they are going to make a pretty penny. And they need to make enough for their $4 billion investment. They have to see that pay off. And EA is saying, we're going to headline as your main Star Wars game company. Of course, I know Traveler's Tales is going to jump on the Lego adaptation as soon as that movie comes out. They are probably they've probably got a guy on set just watching stuff, figuring out how to make certain Lego puzzles out of this stuff, which I'm going to be very happy for the next Lego Star Wars game, because that's another franchise that I really enjoy. So closing stuff about Battlefront. Yes, there's a lot of annoying shit. Yes, there is the fear of EA marketing and EA company getting their grubby mitts all over this thing and saying, no, we need to piece this out into DLC and slowly bleed over what these people want, and not give them something automatically. But as annoyed as that makes me feel, and how shitty that is, it's still a Star Wars Battlefront game, and until I can empirically hold the controller in my hand and look at the screen and say this is bad, until I have that, I cannot say that I don't want to try this game out. Even if it is, I will still at least play it once or twice. I will, of course, currently I don't own a console that can play said game, so I will be waiting to get one of those. So, in short, yes, it sucks that EA marketing is holding this, but don't let, if that's really getting you down, just remember, yes, it's an EA game, but it's also a DICE game. And know that DICE knows what they're doing, and hopefully they have the power to put their foot down and tell EA marketing and EA CEO, fuck off, we need to make this game. We need to make a video game, not a small piece of a game and then sell. We want to build somebody a full, when they open the box up, they get a full puzzle, not one piece that says buy the other pieces of the puzzle here at this point in time. Hopefully they have that power within their hands to stop them. If they don't, nobody's going to buy it, and they will have made a horrible mistake. And hopefully they know that, so they are prepared to stop that from happening. Having no bot multiplayer is annoying, but I had a lot of fun with Destiny and playing Destiny multiplayer. So if you can replicate that with a Star Wars skin, well done, you have earned my respect. So that's my 2 cents on Battlefront 3. It was kind of long, but it's a lengthy discussion because I have some personal, just qualms where, as annoyed as I might be, I'm still a Star Wars fanboy, and no matter what happens, there are still things you can't you can't ruin Star Wars by having this game come out and be bad. You can hurt the name of Battlefront, you can damn well do that, There's definitely the possibility of that. But no, you can't, actually. You can hurt the name of this upcoming Battlefront, but you will never take away how good these games are. How good Battlefront 1 and 2 are. And hell, this is a message to all modders and all guys, like, network makers on Steam. If this shit goes sideways and it falls to pieces in like the first couple of weeks and it's utterly terrible, fucking get on whatever coding system you need and rework the online system for Battlefront 2. If Battlefront 3 fucking fails, we as the fans should fuck EA over by not buying their shitty product and rework the multiplayer of Battlefront 2 for Steam, because it's Battlefront 2. It's still tremendous no matter what system you play on it. B, that is one of the only games that has supposed partial controller support, where the controller support for it is better than a game that has full controller support. If shit goes sideways and somehow these supposed fears about how bad Battlefront 3 is going to be, and that shit goes down, gentlemen, start your mod kits. We're bringing Battlefront 2 back to the main stage. We need... The people who love Battlefront should not be robbed of a good Battlefront game just because EA has an obligation to make ridiculous amounts of money with their horrible business practices. We deserve a good Battlefront game. We have been waiting 10 years for a good Battlefront game. So, if this goes shitty, ladies and gentlemen, I implore you, go back to these old ones, because they still run really well. Battlefront, this is, I think, from 2002, 3, I want to say? Let me check that one. This was 2004. So this was 11 years ago. So, just to put that in perspective, we had 2 amazing Battlefront games 1 year after the other. We have now been waiting 10 years for another one of those blockbuster amazing quality Battlefront games. So, if EA does not deliver, we don't need to deliver to them. We don't need to go into their marketing campaign. All we need to do is just not give them the sales, and hopefully they'll realize and revamp it and fix it. Because the possibility of having a DICE-made Battlefront game, at least from the start, was endless as to how good that could be. And these new press releases look like a step back from what it was going to be, but also that when we heard that, we were thinking in terms of fantasy. We weren't thinking in terms of what was theoretically possible with budgets. We were thinking of the infinite possibilities of what things could be. So, hopefully, DICE has a good balance with EA, and there's some give and take, and whatever they have to force into DLC, they make that DLC damn good so that it's worth whatever the hell we pay for it. So. I just hope it's good. Like, and honestly, if they do a good job, then we all win. They win with their sales, we win with a new game, but we don't know the inner workings of how funds and business practices within that system works. We don't know how much certain things cost. Maybe some people do, but I don't think we will ever really know for sure sure how much stuff costs. So we just have to accept what we are given, and well, no, we don't have to accept it, but just everyone who thinks this is going to be horribly destructive and the worst thing ever, just wait for 2 seconds, wait for the wait for the game to come out, wait for reviews to come out, then you can finally, once you either see your reviewer of choice play it and tell you that it's bad, or that you physically play it for yourself and you see that you don't like it, then put it aside, and EA will, and if enough of us do that and EA notices it, then they'll change it, because they want this to work. They desperately want this to work. Everyone who's in on this business plan wants this to work, because they know we've had the history. They know if this works and they make something that people like and want, they will make ridiculous amounts of money. So, anyways, back to Hoth. Oh, there was one other thing that was in the press release that kind of annoyed me. That it said there was going to be no Clone Wars. Yeah, that sucks. But hopefully, the supplement to that is that we get more of what's going to be happening in the future trilogies and such. We get to have fights in possibly new locations for where episode 7 and so on take place. It's still going to be annoying because there will be fights that I miss, such as Geonosis. Geonosis in this game is probably the best example of how a fully fledged fight should look. And I'm gonna jump out of this thing because I am not getting any kills. there is a first-person toggle. However, this first-person toggle doesn't look very, very nice. Whereas, if DICE is going to make a first-person only, obviously they're going to make it look a lot nicer.
We must destroy the shield generator. We've captured a command post. We must destroy the shield generator.
The original, the what people would consider 1, 2, 3.
We've captured a command post.
So, Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, and Revenge of the Sith. Sorry, I was thinking of Return of the Jedi, the true third film in the Star Wars series. Hello, Millennium Falcon. So, I think the key in all this, and with all these things where people get up in arms about, oh, they're going to be ruining my childhood and all these things I used to love. Just wait.
Captured a command post.
Honestly. And no matter, with the DICE thing, no matter what they do, Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 are still going to be awesome games, and people are going to start finding ways to, well, Battlefront 2 is on Steam and has amazing controller support. So, if Battlefront, what is, I guess, called, what is essentially Battlefront 3 comes out and is bad, go pay $10 for Battlefront 2 on Steam. Hopefully other people who are in the same boat as you, hopefully amongst them will be at least a couple modders, and we can get that fucking multiplayer to work. Because right now, I think the multiplayer is run by GameSpy or something, a service that I have not heard about for, I'm gonna give it 3 years or something. So, if shit goes sideways, go grab fucking Battlefront 2 on Steam. Hell, sometimes you can get lucky and get it like I did for $3. I'm also surprised that we haven't seen any, like, footage or anything today. I would have thought that they would have, there would have been at least some, footage released on today. But it's possible because the second trailer that they made came out probably less than a month ago, so they're still probably collecting footage for another trailer. Personally, I wouldn't want any still footage. I want just a couple screenshots. Just give me some screenshots. You know what? No. Give me some screenshots of the prop room. That's what I want to see. I want to see prop room screenshots. I want to see all the rows upon rows of blasters and lightsabers and stuff like that. Show us that. Like, and just let us look at that in detail and start dissecting what those what these things look like. God. It's still, like, for a 2004 game, this game still runs really well. I think I have one more. Now, this is the one thing that I believe has not been removed from the game, and that is, and well, of course it's not in this one, but it's one of the best parts of this level in Battlefront 2 is I don't believe heroes and villains have been removed, so we are still going to see the ability to play as
Their reinforcements are being depleted. We've captured a command post. Enemy in range.
like, if it's 20 versus 20, you're gonna have 10 Han Solos, and like 10 Aegis Securas with the blue and green lightsaber versus probably like 10 Emperors and 10 Darth Mauls. But it's still gonna be a fucking time and a half. Who does not love this the Mos Eisley map? I don't think they even changed the map for Battlefront 2. I don't think they changed it at all, except for maybe obviously graphical. I don't even know if there's too many graphical changes. I think it looks about the same in Battlefront 2. The only thing that would be a little different is turret placement and then just the addition of heroes. But even then, it's still the same, so you just have all these back alleyways and shit like that. And now if they remove this map from the new Battlefront, then I'm gonna have some fucking problems, because you cannot release a Star Wars game, a Star Wars Battlefront game, that does not include Mos Eisley. You have to have that moment where you have that dramatic music change of whatever current epic battle music there is playing, have that stark contrast of that, and then step into the cantina and suddenly have the cantina soundtrack going. The only thing that's annoying about Battlefront 1, no sprint button. As much as I want there to be one, there is none. Hey boys. God. Rifle trooper or just rifle class in Battlefront 1 and reasonably in Battlefront 2 is probably the most overpowered thing in the world. Except for, of course, when you play on Camino and you go to the very particular high spot on the, I think it's the droid side, and you just play a sniper character and you peg every single person who runs up the steps as they come towards you. Got 18 left, and 42 and 5 so far, not bad. Let's go here and take them from the back. What are you guys doing? Get out there. Oop. I always, especially with those, what seems to be exactly waist high cover, I always wondered, what would it be like if this, since it's third person, what would it be like if there was a cover system to this game? Obviously there could probably be just a lot of just hiding behind cover and never coming out. Where are we at? One guy over here. Up. One guy left. This guy. Come here, jet trooper. Shoot him. Yay, we did it. Excellent. Alright. So in short, ladies and gentlemen, may the 4th be with you. And if all these Star Wars releases and whatnot are bothering you, just wait and see. You can't tell if something's going to be bad just by a couple press releases. You have to physically wait and see what happens. So I'm going to close it off there. Thank you very much for watching.